right, welcome back, everybody. We got our boy Tim the Bear Caron in here. He's going to talk about his recent fight, his business that he owns, a personal training business, and a little bit about his career, and then obviously we're going to talk about the Calvin Kattar fight. That when this airs, it'll be fight week for Calvin. We'll be out in Russia, in Moscow, doing some Rocky IV shit. I'm excited, but I think, Tim's coming off a big win last weekend in Bellator. Finally got that elusive 10th win.
Finally.
A big decision win over a game black belt that had a good record, so it was a really impressive win by you. But, and then my buddy Brendo, how you been?
Hey, I've been hanging in there, you?
Hey, you've been busy?
All sorts of things going on.
There you go. So, we'll just get right into it. Just tell us a little bit about your background, where you're from, how you got into MMA, and then jump right in. I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of questions about the Tim's gym and all that.
Cool. Yeah. So I was born and raised here, right here in Manchester. My whole life. I think I moved to Florida for 6 months, but we did not like that. So
I didn't know that.
Yep. Yeah.
What part of Florida?
Tampa.
When was this?
Freshman year of high school.
Oh wow.
We moved down there, and then I came back. Second part of freshman high school, and went back to Memorial. Yeah. So that's something you didn't know.
I'm learning stuff already.
Really getting into MMA was just watching it on TV, watching the old school guys. Anderson Silva was kind of my go-to guy, always watching him, hoping he would crush everybody, and he did. So that's kind of how I got into it. I just wanted to learn how to do those things, learn how to defend myself, and really just get in shape.
Was this when you were in high school that you started watching it?
It was right after high school. So I didn't do anything through high school. I didn't wrestle. I didn't do anything. I played basketball and soccer pretty much my whole life. And then it turned into that. Once I started at a gym in Derry, Carmen Moreau's, I found out I was pretty good at everything. So it was judo, MMA, kickboxing, and just starting off, I was doing well. So I got lucky with my skill set, I guess. So I decided to go with it until I joined the military. Once I joined the military, I went to Germany for a couple of years. I did not do any training whatsoever. I ate a lot and drank a lot.
That's a form of training, Brenda.
Yes. But then I got stationed in New Mexico, and that's kind of where the whole MMA career started off, when I started going to Jackson's and Wink's gym. So that's where it all started.
So how old were you at that point? Probably what, 20, 22?
I was 22 when I started there. Yep.
And how long did you train there total?
2 years.
And you did some kickboxing fights there?
I did 3 kickboxing smokers. I went 3-0.
Nice.
I was just working my way to doing the MMA, but then I got out of the military, moved back here, and that's how I ended up with Nate at Burgess MMA.
So when you moved back from New Mexico, you moved right back to Manchester.
Yeah.
And then did you start training with Nate right away, or how did you find Nate?
I've known Nate. Just everybody knew who Nate Lamont was growing up. So knowing I was coming back, I just hit him up, saying he didn't know who I was. I was just like, hey, I'm coming from New Mexico. I've been training a couple of years. Mind if I come try a class? And we hit it off. I learned a lot. My wrestling was my weakest point. Now it's probably one of my strongest because there were some good wrestlers in that gym. So.
And for those of you that don't know who Nate Lamont is, we actually get him on here at some point. He was supposed to be a guest once. He went to the same high school as me. He's a few years behind me. So when I was in grad school and I came back, college, I came back and helped coach a little bit. He was on the team, real good high school wrestler, and then I think he did a little bit in college, right?
Yep.
And then now he has his own gym called Burgess MMA here in Manchester, and he fought in the IFL himself. He's a real top-rated fighter locally. Made the national scene for a little bit, but that's obviously a whole nother story. But that's when we're referring to Nate Lamont. That's who we're talking about. Is a local kid. Wrestler, and then he became your coach, and he's still your coach.
Still my coach. Yep.
Let's get right into last week's fight.
Yeah.
So
that was a good time.
Full disclosure here, I felt like such a jerk
He's an
because
asshole.
so for those that don't know, we had last weekend was a big weekend. We had, for me personally, but obviously New England, there was a CES fight on Friday night in Twin River Casino. I had supposed to be three, it ended up being two fighters that I managed fighting on that card, William Knight and Dennis Paiva, ended up being the co-main event and the main event.
Yep.
And then, but the same night, you were fighting in Bellator at Mohegan Sun, and the prelims, you were on the prelims, so they were going to be aired on Bellator.com streaming.
Yep.
And then the next night, I had John Duma and Devin Powell fighting on a second show in Bellator at Mohegan, and they were also on the prelims, which are streaming on Bellator.com. Now, me being the CTE idiot that I am, Saturday night was starting at 7, streaming on Bellator, and Friday night was starting at 6. Well, me and Brendo got to CES, we checked in, got my corner credentials, and then me and Joe Lazon, Brendo, and a couple other people, Pete Jeffrey, a couple of us went to get a quick dinner, because we'd been, driving all day. And it was like 7:02, and I'm like, all right, I gotta log in and watch Tim's fight. He had already fought.
Really
I was
nice.
like, I felt like such a jerk, and then I'm like panicking, and Joe's like, what is, I was like, I feel like such a jerk. He won, but I feel like such a jerk because I didn't watch. He's like, it didn't change anything. I was like, yeah, but I like to watch it live, because then once they posted it on their website, then I was able to watch it, and I went back and watched the fight. But I felt like such a jerk, and I was so anxious that I'd missed it, and I was like, I'm just gonna act like I watched it. I was like, great job, buddy, and then I watched it the night, and then I gave you some feedback. But no, great fight. So you want to just take us through the fight, kind of a little bit over the last. I know you started out 9-0.
Yep.
With 9.
No, I went 7-0.
7-0 with 7 finishes, right?
Yep.
And then you went to.
I lost one.
To the Bellator fight.
My first
right?
Bellator fight.
Jordan Young.
Or my second Bellator fight. Jordan Young.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then we went 2 more.
Then I won 2 more. And then I went to Contender Series. I took an ass whooping there. Yeah, little man.
Not too tall for it.
So I took my butt whooping and learning experience down there. And then I fought again for Bellator last October. That was my last fight before last week.
Yep.
And I lost that one. But the one got overturned in Vegas.
Yep. Because he had THC, right?
I think it was just marijuana.
Yeah, THC.
Whatever, yeah. So that's off my record. So I'm back to 10. I was 9-2. And then after this past week, another victory. Now I'm 10-2. Finally. That elusive 10.
Was there nerves going into the fight knowing that, because you kind of said to me last week we met up at my house, and you said, I finally got that 10th win. It was like the monkey was off your back. Did you feel a little pressure to okay, I lost 2 in a row.
Yep.
Don't make it 3?
I absolutely did. I wasn't going in there to lose again. I was stressed for the last 2 fights. Obviously, the Vegas one is a whole different ball game. So I'll be ready for that if that happens again. And then I think after that loss, it was just a mental game. I didn't push. It was a very close fight. The one after that.
The De Jesus fight, right?
Yeah, that was a very close fight. I think it could have went either way. I just didn't pull the trigger.
That was a fight, because I was the third corner in that, just kind of the guy that carried the bucket for Ryan and Nate. And
you did great.
I didn't drop it. That was a tough fight because the feeling I had in the corner after the fight was we didn't lose, we just didn't win.
Right.
You could have won the fight. He didn't win the fight. You just didn't win the fight. And that's not making any sense. But had you pulled the trigger, like you said,
exactly,
you could have taken him down much earlier. Probably you realized late in the third that you had success. Oh, I can take him down.
Yeah.
And then anytime you were moving forward, you were having success. But when you started moving backwards, he would throw some capoeira stuff, spinning stuff that wasn't even landing, but looked really cool to the judges in the crowd. So it's it was a frustrating fight. But it seems like you learned from it because you had a long layoff, started a business, and then came back and got a win against a black belt that hadn't fought in a few years. So it was really kind of a scary fight because you don't know who you're fighting. Yeah,
which is okay by me. I don't like watching people's fight anyway. I like to go in there knowing my game plan more than what their game plan is, because then I'm always worried, like, oh shit, something's coming,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So if I don't know what's coming, I'll be prepared for everything, kind of. So that's kind of what happened this fight. And I felt probably the best I've felt in a cage in a very long time during this fight. I just felt very confident.
So do you think that year that you took off was beneficial?
Yeah, I needed it mentally and physically, I think. It was just back-to-back fights, like 3 or 4 times a year since 2014. So it was just time to take a break, and this was always in the back of my mind. My business, opening up my own gym, is more of a long-term game plan, I guess. So I wanted to get that going. I didn't want to work the 9-to-5s anymore. So once I got it rolling, and it's doing very well, and now my whole life is just working out. So I was in the best shape of my life at his last fight, because that's all I do is work out 3 or 4 times a day, at least. Sometimes it's 5 or 6, just because I'm bored. So
Have you noticed since you've been doing the, and we'll let you talk more in depth about your gym so people can understand what it is, but since you've been not having to work the desk job or the 9-to-5, like, have you noticed that you're in better shape for this fight and that you felt stronger? 'Cause
Yeah.
you looked better. You look like you could tell physical changes
Yep.
in your appearance, that you were obviously in better shape and appeared to be having like a little bit more muscle on you.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I actually have a nutritionist now. My whole mindset changed towards fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So workouts, nutrition, everything's like on point now. So the weight cut is super easy, and obviously I just look much more fit, and my condition was fine. He was trying to wear me out, and
You wore him out.
didn't work very good. Yeah.
So obviously the young fighters, like, you'd be considered a veteran now, right? You've got a bunch of fights.
Yep.
You know, you're over 30. You're not that much over 30, but you're still.
Thanks.
You know, so for these younger kids coming into fighting, everybody's now. It used to be like, oh, I want to fight in the UFC, but now it's kind of changed where these young fighters, they're like, oh, I want to go on the Contender Series, and you have that under your belt. You fought in the Contender Series. You fought in
Yep.
front of Dana White in the Octagon, in Vegas. You've also fought for Bellator multiple times. And then you fought on CES on TV. You fought locally for Calvin Kattar,
Yep.
and then some other promotions. I guess what type of advice? And I know it's different now with the new Apex Arena for the UFC and on the Dana White Contender Series, where there's a little bit of an audience.
Yeah.
But I guess what advice could you give to a young fighter going in there on like what to expect? Because you said it was like a whole different beast, and it really is. There's no walk-up music. It's very different.
It's a huge
Dana
mental
White's
game.
there. It's like what advice could you give? Like I guess how did it meet expectations, and how would it also like kind of overwhelm you a little bit?
Well, yeah, meeting expectations wise, like that, like what they do for you, the UFC, like just the whole, what am I trying to think of here? The whole
Production,
experience,
yeah.
the whole experience of leading up to it. Like they fly you out like 4 months before to do all the media stuff. Then they fly you out 3 or 4 days before the fight, and you can use the UFC gym. Just seeing all the big names in that gym, you get to work with them and stuff like that. So the experience itself is just phenomenal. Leading up to it, like there was no nerves. There was nothing really hit me until I walked through those doors.
To silence.
To absolute silence. You got your family, like 4 to 6 people that you're allowed in there, that you know, and you can literally hear every single person screaming, like whatever they get up, do this, do that. It's not just your corner you're listening to now. It's the entire crowd, and then you can hear their friends talking shit to you while you're in the cage. So it's just wild, and you walk right by the 3 bigwigs of the UFC to get into the cage. So it was just like a holy crap moment. So I guess what I would suggest doing, don't think that you won't be hit by that. Go into it expecting a different experience. It's not like just walking into your cages in your local scenes, or even Bellator. It's a big show, but it was nothing like that. So go into it expecting to feel something different, and then work with it. Just go with the flow.
I know I would be. It's just different. There's no walk. So I had one fight where I don't know, there was some dispute between the DJ and the promoter or something, and I was like the first fight on the card. So I walk out and I'm like waiting. I'm like, no. They're like, walk. I was like, no, my song's not playing yet. And they're like, it doesn't matter. You got to go. So I walk out and my opponent's already in the cage. Sorry, someone from the UFC is texting. All right, sorry. My opponent's already in the cage. I didn't even realize he had walked, and now I'm walking with no music. And just that little change of like not getting your walkout song, because you don't ever envision it that way, right? Yep. So you walk out, I'm like, oh, I felt like I wasn't as ready to get the fight started. Then I go in there, and the kid just comes at me like a puma on a piece of meat. I'm just like, oh, I guess we're fighting, you know? Yep. I got my ass kicked, but those little things can throw people off. And I think like hearing like some of this experiences you like you do have a very good record. You know how to finish fights. You fought on the biggest stages there are, which is in the Octagon and Bellator. Yeah. I think young fighters, to hear that feedback of like, listen, like I don't care who you are, you go in there, you're gonna be nervous, and it's not even nervous. It's almost like shell shocked, like oh, these lights seem brighter than I thought they would, or
it's just not the same. It's a whole different animal. There's really no way to explain it until you do it.
Yeah.
If you got another chance, do you think the nerves would hit you the same way?
No, I don't think so. Now, again, I've been in the bigger shows even more now. And then now I know exactly what I'm expecting. I know they're going to be there. So I just got to go in there and do what I do best. Just like win every fight and finish it.
I think back on that fight, and it was the one moment right at the beginning where you had him in a clinch and you went to throw like a knee up the middle.
Yep.
And you kind of like you threw the knee, like you committed to it. Yep. But then it didn't land, and so it was like it went so high that it pulled your bottom leg out and you fell on your butt.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden he like ripped a hard shot, and it was kind of like from then you were like kind of scrambling the rest of the fight.
Yep.
Like me and I think it was me, Calvin, and Rob were talking about this the other day of like how that one little thing like kind of steered your career in a certain direction for about a year.
Yep.
You know, that one little slip. If that knee landed, maybe you're in the UFC.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But that knee didn't land, and not only did it land, it like you landed on your back, and you were like, whoa, and next thing you know, you're getting drilled.
Yep.
And then the whole rest of the fight, you were trying to just like not get hurt.
Yep.
You know, like you were like half there, half not there, and you were like a total stud surviving.
Yep.
and being tough and showing your toughness. But like you just think about like how much actual luck goes into a career as well. Like obviously there's hard work, you gotta give yourself the at-bats, but like that little thing of that little knee not landing and then you slipping, like even if you throw the knee, it doesn't land, you don't slip.
Yep.
Now it's still an even fight, you know.
Right.
But that slip, nothing that he made, you know, he missed the knee.
Yep.
But you falling because the knee, it's just, and then he lands a power punch, and then you're kind of like, whoa. You know?
Yeah.
So you just think about how much that one little thing has an effect on the last couple years of your life.
Yeah.
But also, like, you got to think everything happens for a reason. Had you gone to the UFC, you're probably not doing so well with your business.
Right.
So let's transition to that. I want to hear about Tim's, explain what it is, like, you know, because I'm sure there's a lot of people locally that listen that would want to check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's Tim's Strength and Conditioning. Tim's is obviously my name, but it's an acronym for Train, Inspire, Motivate, and Succeed. So what we do there is we have the 3 prongs. So for anything to work longevity-wise, you have your fitness side of things. Obviously, you got to move. We have the nutrition. So we do nutrition, get people eating right. And it's not any fad diets or anything like that. It's more macro-based diet. So we teach people longevity, nutrition, and then the accountability. So everybody joins the gym and then stops showing up 2 weeks later. That doesn't happen with us. So we're on you. You have an assigned coach. Your coaches make sure you're coming to the gym. Make sure you're eating right, things like that.
Now, are these group classes?
Yeah, it's all group classes. So you can't just come do whatever you want. It's scheduled classes. There's a trainer for each class. They set up. So we have strength and conditioning. So it's like circuit-based training.
Yep.
Or boot camp. That's the more well-known term for it. And that's probably one of the most popular classes. Obviously, I do kickboxing because I like to kick things. And it's not sparring or anything like that. It's more for the workout. General population just want the cardio workout. And, then we actually have power yoga as well, which is pretty nifty.
Do you do it?
I do. Yep.
Yoga is hard.
It is.
I did the hot yoga once with Calvin before one of his fights. Me, Rob, and Calvin all went, and
that's no joke.
It'll bring the bitch out of you real fast.
Yep. It is definitely not fun.
I was mad because it was like Rob, then Calvin, and then me, and I think Calvin's roommate was there. But then next to me was like the yoga black belt, probably. Like he had the ponytail, he had all his own equipment. Like I was like, you guys put me next to the ringer, so like I'm just like over here trying to like turn, and he's like flipping himself around, wrapping his hands behind his back.
And he's like 73 years old.
No, he was probably like 30, but he just looks like he probably never ate meat. But he just made me look bad, This the whole time I'm like, oh, I don't look like that.
Yep.
How do we define power yoga?
So actually, it's more like DDP yoga. I don't know if you know who DDP is.
I'm quite familiar.
He's a big wrestling fan.
I figured he would know. But he created the yoga system, and that's what one of my trainers does. And for those that don't know, it's Diamond Dallas Page yoga.
And he was a WWE wrestler for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long time. But he created this yoga for like retired athletes and things like that, older athletes, to rehabilitate them. So that's kind of what we do.
And do you have to so when people sign up, do they have to sign up for the class every time they're going to come, or do they just show up as needed?
No. So we have an app that they just sign into whenever they're going to be coming to a class. They sign in. That way, one, accountability is there. So if you sign up for something, it's a lot less likely that you don't show up. And if you don't, then you get charged anyway if it's within a certain time. And then it also allows us to see who's coming, so we can set up class. And we're capped. We can only have like 20 people. It just gets wild if you have more than that. Like the personalization kind of goes out the window. So we're capped at 20 people. So if you don't make the list, you get on a wait list, and that's why we have that charge. You got to cancel, so you can let somebody else on that actually wants to show up.
And then I noticed online that you also do like, I don't know what you call them, specials where you have like, hey, we're gonna do this
challenges.
A weight loss. Okay, challenge.
Yeah, so we do weight loss challenges. We do sometimes it's a 28-day, sometimes it's a 6-week, and those are 2 different nutrition plans. And then we also do like a diagnostics. So we get you in there and ask you where you want, like see where you're at, ask you where you want to be, and I can tell you how long it'll take me to get there. And we actually guarantee the results as long as you listen to what I'm telling you to do. And if you don't hit that mark and you are listening, then we work with you for free until you actually get there.
Nice.
So there's a lot of options to go with.
And so if people want to find the gym, what would be the best way to do it? Go on Facebook or website?
Facebook is probably the best way. That's Tim's Strength and Conditioning. I do have a website as well, www.tims-fitness.com.
There you go.
Other than that, we're in Hooksett, New Hampshire, right between Cinemagic and Shooters, right off exit 9.
Yeah.
9 North. Yeah.
Yeah, 9 in.
Yep.
Kind of right in front of Snoo, basically. Well, Snoo's back here.
Snoo is like in the woods, but yeah.
I know. I was just saying, like, it's that road that goes, what is it, 28 or there? What is that, 3A?
No, it's not 3A.
I don't know. It's exit 9N, and then you take a right out. If you're going north, you take a right.
Yep.
And then it's there on your left, like maybe, half mile down?
Half to a mile.
Okay.
It's not far.
It's behind Smoker's Haven, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I went there for the grand opening. It was a year ago, roughly? Not even a year.
It's been 8 months. We opened in March of this past year, so we got about 80 members now. So we're doing good. Everybody's crushing it. Lots of transformations. There's a bunch of photos in the gym. Come check out, even online. On my website and stuff, you can see some of the 6-week transformations.
What's the biggest transformation that you've had?
I have, I think, 6 people now that have lost over 50 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And now, are you teaching?
That's in 8 months, which is
Yeah.
pretty solid.
Are you teaching some of the classes?
I do teach. I don't teach them all. I have 3 part-time trainers now, and then I just kind of fill in. I do a lot of the marketing side of things and the selling, getting people in and tell them how I can help them, pretty much.
I think the big things, like people that are like, maybe they're immobile, they're just sitting around and not working out, but they want to do something. I think there's like an intimidation that comes along with that, like of
there is.
they're gonna think I'm not good enough, or I got to get in shape before I go get in shape. You know, they have that.
That is a number one thing that people say. Oh, I have to get in shape before I come to the gym.
Yeah,
that's not how it works.
So what? So I guess, and there's an intimidation factor about walking into a new place where you think everybody's gonna look at you and say, "Oh, he's stupid, he doesn't know what he's doing," or "she's, whatever."
Yep.
Like, so what is it about your facility or your culture that like could kind of break down those barriers, where like someone that might hear this that says, I want to do something, I want to make a move, but I'm too scared to, like, what is it that you guys do to like, make sure that they feel comfortable when they come in? Like, because it definitely seems like a family atmosphere when I look at all the people. Some people that I used to work out with like train there and they love it. And that seems like the culture you guys are instilling. So I guess, what could you say to someone that's kind of like on the fence, that's like, I want to do it but I'm nervous?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have all ages, well, not the young kids. We 13 and above. We don't do the kids yet, but we have all the way up to 70 years old. We have all weights, all sizes. It's just getting over that heat. Once you come in and talk and see our transformation pictures, you can see where people started and then see where they're at now. Obviously, I warn everybody, their first time working out is not going to be fun. You're going to get dizzy. your body basically goes into shock. So you got to get through that first one. Once you start feeling that, obviously stop.
Slow down,
go grab water, do whatever you got to do. Everything is modified. So sometimes we do box jumps. Can't do a box jump, we do step ups. Can't do a step up, so we just do knee raises, things like that. Everything can just be stepped down, and you're not slowing anybody down because everybody's doing their own thing at their own stations. So it's really just on you, and the coaches are there to just make sure you're doing it right. No injuries. That's what we pride ourselves on. We've had a few people kickboxing. They like to roll their ankles, so the technique's not there just yet, I guess.
So if they want to make that next move and they want to go, like, what's the first step they have to do? Just sign up online, call, and just set up an appointment?
Yep, give me a call. Set up an appointment to come chat. We do consultations, so it's not just come. The first class is free, so you could just come down and try it out, to be honest. And then we can talk after and see what the goals are, and I'll tell you how I can get you there.
Has becoming a new business owner, has that affected your overall approach to being a fighter?
Yes. Well, like I kind of said earlier, it got easier. Just because my whole life now is working out. And then just the mental game, the grind, I guess. It's a different grind, owning a business. So there's a lot of backside of things that obviously some people don't realize that happen. So mentally, it's just a grind there, and it's the same as fighting. It's just you gotta get into a different mindset and go. So it's definitely helped. Plus, I'm doing what I love, so now I'm happy all the time instead of working my 9 to 5 and then going to be like, oh, fucking gym.
Because you were doing personal training before too, right?
Yeah, I was going to people's houses at that point while working a full-time job and training to fight.
I remember when I first met you had the magnet on your car.
Yep.
Yeah, I know that. What was it called? The Bare Necessities?
The Bare Necessities. Yeah. There might be an expansion coming within the year or two that could be called the Bare Necessities.
Oh.
I might be doing a little martial arts. We'll see.
There you go.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Bear, how did you get the nickname the Bear?
Brendo was waiting to ask that question.
It's all right.
I stole it from him.
So it started in the military over in Germany. I just drank a lot, and I talked like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I would always say, I'm big as bear. And once that happened, everyone's called me Big as Bear for a very long time, and then it slowly dwindled to Bear. And then I started fighting, and Bear stuck, or just stuck, yeah.
Well, now you're German.
Yeah. Bear stuck. Bear stuck. And now I kind of just tell people, like, once I get people on the ground, it's pretty much a mauling from there. So
nice.
Yeah.
There you go. I know we're trying to get you a quick turnaround to fight on the Combat Zone show if we can get an opponent.
Yep.
November 23rd, right?
November 23rd. That's the plan.
Get that win number 11.
Yes. That'll be nice. 2 fights for this year, which is kind of where I wanted to be anyway because of the opening the gym and everything. Needed that time off, but 2 this year, 2 wins, and then we'll be back on track for a bigger contract somewhere else, hopefully.
That's the plan. Speaking of bigger contracts, so we got obviously you're in here at a fun time because next week Calvin Kattar, you fought for him, you've trained with him, like
absolutely.
I think you guys are buddies.
Yep.
The main event. We talked about the Calvin's fight on here before. It was supposed to be in Boston. It was going to be the co-main event, and then his opponent Zabit got, I guess, a staph infection, and then
dirty Russians
couldn't fight. So then they moved it to Moscow 3 weeks later, and it was going to be the co-main event. But then the main event got a staph infection, and they had to pull the main event. So now we're the main event.
Yeah.
So we'll fly out Monday. If this goes up on Tuesday, then we'll already be in Russia. So obviously it's a big week for him. He's got a lot of media obligations next week. And then he'll be the main event on ESPN Plus next week. We're number 11 fighting the number 5. It's a big opportunity.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time that New England's had someone in the main event since Kenny Florian was the main event against Gomi, which was probably 13 or 14 or something like that. So it's been
a while.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
So I guess from your perspective, obviously you know Calvin, you fought for him, you've trained with him, but like, how do you, like, is this like a big deal for, like, obviously me, I'm so involved in it, it's a big deal, but like how does like someone in your position, like, is it motivating to see someone like Calvin doing what he's doing, like from where he's come to where he's at? Or
I think it's motivating for every single fighter in New England. He's pretty much, we're riding these coattails. He's building us all up just by showing he can make it. And he was, late, he didn't fight for how long? And then all of a sudden came back and was like, fuck it, I'm going to be the best.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he was 14-2, took a few years off, and then decided he wanted to make another run.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, let's do
phenomenal.
This. Yeah.
He's like an awesome guy. Obviously, my career probably wouldn't be where it's at without him and his show at Combat Zone. So, thanks, Calvin. And yeah, it's super motivating. Like, I'm very happy for him. I can't wait to watch that fight.
You're gonna watch, right?
Damn right. Saturday afternoon. It's not even, you don't gotta stay up.
I just think of, like, all these conversations that we used to have, and when you're a fighter, you think of the things like you were like, oh, it'd be nice to fight in the Contender Series, or it'd be nice to fight in Bellator. All these things that you kind of have, these little checklists that you go through, and like, just talking to our fighters, it was always like, I started managing guys. It was like, oh, it'd be cool to get a guy in the UFC. And then it would be like, oh, it'd be cool to be on the main card. And then it'd be like, oh, it'd be cool to be a co-main event, or it'd be cool to be a main event. It'd be cool to be on the poster. It's like, I feel like this year has been like a big year. Rob was supposed to be the co-main event on the card. It ended up not happening. And then Calvin was going to be the co-main event, and it ended up not happening. And then he's supposed to be the co-main event again. It didn't happen. But now he's the main event. So it's like I said, it's the first time in a long time that a New Englander's headlined a card.
Yep.
And it's such a big opportunity. He's fighting the number 5 guy. I just think it shows how far New England's come. There's so many other good fighters that are in New England that I think eventually can be in the position that Calvin's in.
Yep.
That they, we have a high level of talent in this region. I just think it's been underrepresented for a while, and it's finally starting to like break that glass ceiling.
Yeah. Go New England.
How do you have you watched the B fight before?
Yeah. I don't think he's anything special.
He's
very tall and looks like Abraham Lincoln.
Yep.
Yeah, no. Have you
maybe scrappy?
Yeah, he is scrappy. He's got good wrestling, good striking. He's definitely he's well rounded.
Yeah.
He's got a weird body type,
yeah.
And he's got a good camp.
I don't think he's ready for the power that. Like, Calvin just has weird power.
I would agree.
When he does that, he has such a crisp box, and once he hits you, it's like, fuck.
And you sparred with him before.
Yeah.
Yeah, he...
and I'm a big boy.
Yeah. No, I'm excited, and I think, you win that fight, and it sets up a special fight next. So I think, collectively, New England's, like, we're all excited about this, and it couldn't happen to a nicer dude.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think so. You were in the Air Force. Did you ever travel to Russia at all?
No, I never.
They don't let our military in there.
Nope.
We don't have any bases there.
They'll
That's
let you
weird.
in. They just won't let you out.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how it is, because I just assume that everybody's gonna boo us. They're gonna hate us.
Yep.
And we're gonna be scared for our lives. But then I talked to some people. I talked to one kid. I won't say his name, but he was like, "No, I grew up in Russia." He's like, "Russians are haters." He's like, "So 40 to 50% of the crowd is going to cheer for Calvin because they don't like Dagestan," which I don't know any of the politics of that, and I don't know if it's true.
Yep.
But he's just saying, like, listen, like, a lot of people are going to be cheering for Calvin as well, which surprised me.
That would be a shock.
Yeah. I mean, even if like 10%, you know, that's
as long as you hear someone little woo.
Yeah. So Calvin's bringing 13, like his family, his mom, his sister, and I think there's 13 people that are going for Team Cater.
Damn.
And so he'll have 13 fans in the crowd.
That's good.
For sure.
Yep.
And then, he'll have us 4 in the corner. So he'll have 17 people yelling for him at least.
Excellent.
It'll be interesting to see. I'm excited about seeing Russia.
Yep.
I don't really know what to expect other than...
You'll probably get to see
what
more.
you seen in Rocky.
Yeah, we're going to do Rocky 4, yeah. We're going to stay in a cabin. We're going to carry railroad ties on our back.
Is there snow there this time of year?
I've been looking at the weather, and it showed snowflakes, but now it's going to rain.
Okay.
So I guess it's going to rain next week. And originally it was supposed to be like 33 all week, but now it looks like it's going to be like 45. And then here it's going to be cold next week. So it's actually going to be colder here than it is in Moscow.
Doesn't seem right.
No,
right?
not at all.
Yeah, so I think, and we fight, I think the main card starts at 2 o'clock here. So probably fight at like 4:15ish.
Yep.
So, and then fly back on Sunday.
The question really becomes, are you ready for your additional responsibilities? I'm going to guess he's part of the open workouts.
Yeah.
Are you holding pads?
I don't know what we're going to do yet. Because Greg couldn't come this time.
Right.
Greg Rebell is usually his Mick guy on Fight Week, and Greg couldn't come. So in the corner, it'll be me, Rob Font, his brother Jameson, and then his jiu-jitsu coach Carlos Neto. So I don't know. We found out today what our schedule is, and then we're like, all right, we'll sit on the plane and we'll figure out what we want to do for the open workouts. But I would assume it would be hit mitts with Rob, because he's been hitting mitts with Rob a lot for the camp, like warming up, and then maybe do a little flow roll with Neto, and then either I do nothing, or maybe I'll just maybe I'll just like hold some Thai pads, let him kick a little bit to warm up, and I don't know, because you don't have to do anything spectacular.
Maybe some Russian dancing.
Yeah, we could do some dancing.
Yeah.
I told him he should bring a little kid up on the stage, and then we just like dance around a little bit, like let him shadow box or something, but win over some of those Russian fans.
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
Because if we bring a little Russian kid up on stage and we play around with him, I feel like that kid will cheer for us now.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's how it works.
Yeah. I mean, I know if my son was brought up on stage to do something, he would cheer for that kid the next night. So
Definitely.
I don't know. It'll be a good experience, though. Did you see what Jorge Masvidal did in the open workouts this week?
Yeah, he had two fans come up and start hitting each other. That was good.
He had fans come up and just box each other, just body shots. But he would just bring random fans up and have them spar. So it's just boxing, with body shots. He gave him gloves and everything.
Interesting.
Entertaining.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah. So.
Very nice.
Yeah, I'm excited about going. But then he's got his. When we come back, he's got his show November 23rd.
Yep.
Hopefully we can get you on that, and then right after him is Rob Font, December 7th. That just got announced. Right. He's going to fight Ricky Simone in DC.
Finally.
Yeah, man, he's been a healthy scratch for a year. It's been tough. He comes off a good win against Pettis, and we were supposed to fight. That fight got canceled in June, and then he had a replacement. That fell out right before weigh-ins, and we were supposed to get a quick turnaround. It didn't happen. We were supposed to be on the Boston card. Didn't happen. And the thing is like, the frustrating part is it's really like nobody's fault. It's just like one bad string of luck after another that all strings together to make for a horrible year. Being a healthy scratch when you're 32 years old at the prime of your career is like, for a whole year, it's a hard pill to swallow. So we get a lot of catching up to do. But he did go from number 11 to number 10 this week.
It's good.
So using that math, if we just stay idle for 10 more years, we will be the world champion.
All right.
So just stay idle, don't get paid, but we will keep climbing the rankings.
Yeah. Just stay healthy.
That's right. So
That's all there is to it.
no, so I think it's a good fight. It's a fight that kid asked for about a year ago. I think he came off a win in his post-fight media scrum. He had said, I want to fight Rob Font, which I think is a mistake on his part. But, Rob's just on a different level right now. Like, I was telling you guys before this, like, we just rolled and wrestled, and call him a striker and then roll with him and then see if he still says he's a striker. Like, he's obviously a striker, but he's well-rounded. Like, his wrestling is great. His strength is great right now. His jiu-jitsu's on point, and his mind's right. So I'm excited for that, December 7th. I have no idea where he'll be out on the card. I know they just announced today the main event's out. But, obviously he's not going to be the main event fighting an unranked guy. But he just got to get that win and then get a quick turnaround and start playing catch-up, because he can beat those top guys in the division. It's just got to get the opportunities.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you fought in November for Calvin, when would you want to fight again? Take a little time off or try to get another quick turnaround if you're healthy?
If I'm healthy, I know there's one in the beginning of January down at Mohegan.
For reality?
Reality.
Yeah, reality.
Trying that, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I think CES is nailing down the date. I think they're the 24th of January.
Oh, yep.
So that could be an option too.
Yep. I think with 3 wins, I think with 2, we have an okay shot, but I think with 3 we'll be all right to get back to Vegas next summer.
It'd be nice.
Yeah.
And this time you won't be as nervous.
No. This time I'm going very confident.
So I think we're coming up to, I know we all have to have a place to be, but I want to give...
Not me.
What's your prediction for Calvin's fight? This is going to air on fight week.
3 rounds, right?
Yeah, only 3 rounds against the B in Russia. Main event next Saturday. This will probably air on Tuesday or Wednesday. So what do you think?
I was going to knock him out in the 3rd.
In 3rd round knockout?
Yep.
Okay. What do you got, Brendo?
I'd like to see him submit him in like the 2nd.
Do you think Calvin's going to submit somebody?
I think
The thing is, he does have good submissions. He just doesn't do it.
Yeah.
But I think that might be fun. It'd be different. Calvin, do something different. Don't really listen to me.
No,
it's
don't
a
listen
bad
to him.
idea.
Just do your thing.
So you want a quick submission?
No, 2nd round. Come on.
2nd round?
Punish him a little bit.
I feel like if I had to predict, I really do feel like it's going to be, he catches him with a punch, drops him, and then finishes on the ground. I don't think it's the one punch he's done. I think it's he clips him, he kind of rocks him a little bit, and then if there's one thing about Calvin when you watch his fights, like when he, some guys will hurt somebody and they don't really go in for the guy. Like if Calvin hurts you, he turns into a wild man. Like, and it's just it's awesome because he's got that killer instinct.
Yep.
When he smells blood in the water, like he's eating, and I think he'll clip him and then jump on him and finish him. Like I would say late 1st round, early 2nd. Is what I'm predicting. I just think I don't think Zabit has fought anybody with the precision that Calvin has that can also match his footwork. Like, I don't think Zabit has crisp technical footwork, but he moves very well and he understands how to get out of the way and manage distance.
Yep.
And I think he hasn't met anybody yet that can counter that. And I think Calvin's going to be able to do it. So I'm excited for it.
You've clearly looked into this much further than I have, so...
Yeah, I watched a video or 2. But I guess, anything else you want to say? Where can people find you on social media?
Tim.thebear.Caron on Instagram. Just look me up on Facebook, Tim Caron.
And then the gym page.
See my sexy self. The gym page on Facebook, it's Tim's Strength and Conditioning with a little and sign, not the word and.
Ampersand, right?
Ampersand, yeah.
Yeah, Tim ampersand.
Yeah.
Tim and conditioning. Is that what
I think the and is between strength conditioning.
Strength, ampersand, and conditioning.
We made that a lot harder than it
Yeah, I don't think that was helpful at all.
Okay, say that again.
Tim's Strength and Conditioning.
Okay, and then just like it,
Just
send a message.
Yeah.
And the message go right
both
to
of
you?
them. The message will go right to me. I take care of all that, the social media stuff, so I will get in touch with you, and we'll schedule a time for you to come chat.
And a free class, right?
Yeah.
Nice. So you can just try it, see if you like
Remember, don't judge it on the first class.
it. Yeah, I know. You get in better shape.
Because it will be hard. That's what it's made for.
That's good. Any other shout outs you want to give, or?
Thanks for having me on the show.
I appreciate you finally coming.
Yeah, finally? This is the first time you asked.
I know, but there's been like
This guy.
We go through like, oh, who do you want to have in this? Like, because some people, you live here, so it's like you're like the low hanging fruit. It's like it's easiest to get like you or Nate in here.
Nice.
But when the guys in Mass, the people in Massachusetts, they act like this is driving to Canada, but yet we drive to them every day. So it's just.
I don't drive to them every day, but
Yeah.
I know what they're saying.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to Massachusetts. I mean, it's nicer in New Hampshire. They should want to come here, but
They should want to come.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Little
All right.
scale of eggs.
so we appreciate everybody keeping up with us. Bear with us. I know we're gonna get more consistent. It's been tough.
with us.
Bear with us. We're trying to figure out a way around the travel schedule. I know Brendo has gotten a what do you call it?
I don't know.
Oh,
Like
he got
a recorder?
a recorder, so we could even do audio only podcasts from the road on times where we can't get into the studio, and then we'll work with Howard, the producer back there, the man behind the mirror in the window, to still even get those up on YouTube and then iTunes and stuff like that, just so we can have more consistency. Because I do think we had a crazy busy summer, so we didn't get in here as much as we wanted to, but I do think there's a lot of stuff that the people in our network can share that people will find interesting. So we'll try to keep the consistency up and keep plugging away. So we appreciate the support. Make sure next or Saturday the 9th, tune in to ESPN Plus, Calvin Kattar versus Magomed Sharipov
Nice.
on ESPN Plus, where the main event the main card starts at 2. And earlier in that card is our previous guest. He's the second fight of the main card, I believe, is Tony Martin, Rocco Martin. So
yeah.
he's on there too. So let's go. Let's get these wins, and we'll be back shortly. Thank you. Howard, that wasn't that bad, right?